What fetish is more popular than you thought? Humiliation. Don't insult me, Jerry, I don't have time to jerk off. Foot and hand fetishes, I find both odd, but they're actually really common for some reason. A lot more common than I thought. Ears. And I didn't see it coming the first time. I was just like, WTF are you doing now? Adults being breastfed. I've worked in a tech startup that had a website used by adults, teens and kids at the same time. We didn't ask for a birth date at first, so no way to tell users apart if they signed up early. Europe regulations, don't ask for data you don't use. I must say, the opinion that kids are sexy, definitely more widespread than expected. Definitely an expensive issue to fix. Don't do websites that allow kids in. The sheer amount of moderation needed is off the charts. For sure. In college I had an interest in atypical sexuality, everything from paraphilias to sexuality and gender identity, and evidence is coming out that there are way more people sexually attracted to kids and young teens than was previously thought. Estimates tend to cluster around like 2% of the population, split 60/40ths between men and women, and that's only if you count people attracted to prepubescent children. It's just that most people who have that attraction aren't going to ever act on it, either because they're also attracted to adults, and can get their jollies that way, or because they have impulse control. Giantesses or guys wishing they were small. I've had guys ask if I mind them imagining if they lived in my shoes. Jerk off instructions. A lot of joy seems to have humiliation overtones, which someone else had pointed out is a common fetish. That's why you need jerk off encouragement. This feels like a trick. Like I'm expecting sexy fun times and then Joe shows up to do shitty, unlicensed contractor work in my backyard. Looks fine for a year and then starts crumbling. Then I demo the work and find all the horrifying shortcuts made. According to a guy who worked in a movie rental store when that was still a thing, bestiality. Face sitting. My girlfriend popped a question one day like, all the girls in the dorm say their boyfriends want them to sit on their faces, is that a thing? Like, oh fuck yeah, that's a thing, but I had no idea it was popular. I think all kinds of femdom things, gentle or otherwise, are more popular than I thought. Worn panties. Collecting, stealing, sniffing, etc. I've seen a bit in a documentary with these old Japanese men sitting in a warehouse opening fresh packages of panties, smearing some juice from a can of tuna fish on the crotch, then putting them in baggies and mailing them off to fetishists worldwide who are each sure they have a special relationship with a hot Japanese girl. Weirdly enough, biting. Specifically neck biting. Guys' obsessions with MILFs. Had no idea how common that was, especially with millennials. The older woman thing has been around since forever. I don't think it's a millennial thing. Seems common around puberty to start noticing that maybe your friend's mom is kind of hot, or your math teacher is sexier than you remember, etc. It doesn't matter how old I get, the age of women I like has stayed the same. 40 to 45. Ever since I started being attracted to women, I've always wanted women in their 40s. Never really liked the girls in my high school. I wanted the teachers. And now that I'm 40, I still can't get enough of the older, LOL, girls. I knew a guy that had a thing for time manipulation where they can freeze time. Pegging seems to be gaining much more traction. Consensual non-consent. All I can think about when I hear that is that episode of Law and Order, I think. Basically some guy gets arrested for trying to rape someone, but he's super confused about why he was arrested. It's found out that the girl's ex-boyfriend secretly created a profile on a website for rape fantasies and, pretending to be her, scheduled with someone to come rape her. Obviously stuff like that doesn't happen, or at least very rarely, but that's what popped in my head. Unfortunately, stories like that have actually happened. This is why the first meeting would never be the actual play. You meet each other, discuss rules and safety procedures before you ever set up a play session. It's too easy to impersonate someone else to not have set up be face to face. A rape fantasy is so risky, legally, that I would only consider doing it with a long-time partner. Otherwise, get a contract in writing. I know. Super sexy, but if you don't know this person well, is risking years and years of jail time to get someone off remotely worth it? Damn, if 1.6k people haven't said my kink IG, I'm fucked up. What's your kink, bro? We're all here to support. I mean, like hypnosis type shit, complete control IG. Find 'em. To be short, it's when a person looks for a partner to completely sponsor, send money, gifts, give complete control over his/her finances, and in return receives close to nothing. Again, depends on the relationship, but usually limited to non-intimate stuff. It baffles me how someone can sign up to this or even get off from that. I have 2 friends who've been offered such services. And it's weird, it happened twice only in my limited social circle. Finnish domination is how I choose to see that, and no amount of explaining can convince me the Finns haven't created a sexual fetish about themselves. Pregnant fetish. If you're going to hook up with someone, may as well be with someone who's already pregnant so you know the baby isn't yours. Man shrugging, medium light skin tone. Farting on dicks. My girlfriend is oddly attracted to the idea of ripping a fat one on my dick, so I let her. That's why my name's Farty Balls. Gently tapping my bare balls with a tennis racket. My ex was into that shit. She was practicing for tennis game she had later. Humiliation, water sports, and lactation. Actually all of them, now that I think about it. Either the world is getting kinkier or we talk about our kinks more these days. Surprisingly, having a piss fetish is rather common nowadays. Fun fact, comedian Patrice O'Neal, who was into urolagnia, found out he had diabetes when his girlfriend commented that his urine tasted like birthday cake. He went for a test and it was identified he was type 2 diabetic. There was a post on here before with a paramedic who made a FWB squirt and managed to figure it out from her juice. He jumped up after going down on her, grabbed his kit and jabbed her to confirm. Was a wild story. Bug catching. That it is a kink at all is beyond fucked. Literally one person having this desire is too much emo. It freaks me out. Muscular women get me going big time. Is there a name for women who are mostly lower body dominant with moderate upper body? I'm not into muscular upper bodies on women but lower body? Oh man. Cuckold. When I was single I signed up for a swing app and I couldn't believe my eyes on how many couples were into this. And they go from a couple wanting to have a threesome to couples looking for a man to impregnate the wife. There were so many guys begging me to bang their wives. Since then, whenever I see a couple I wonder if they do it. Imagine being born as a result of a cuckold kink threesome. I always thought about that. There was this couple which I was dating the wife. After a few months of fucking her they come up with this whole plan of me getting her pregnant and then keep fucking her through the pregnancy, and even after that. The husband was going to pay for everything and raise like his child. Urethral sounding, seen a lot of dudes in the ER for it. Makes me wonder how many people do it without issues. Futanari/girl cock. Not trans people, but rather the specific fetishization of women with penises. I always thought it was niche, yet at this point I can't go to most communities in fantasy settings without encountering it. There's this one guy in the Ruby fandom who has a major thing for Weisschnee, in particular having a dick. Man's commissioned easily a couple hundred artists to draw a picture of various characters encountering the schneeness. On one hand, most of the main cast are underage for the first few seasons, but on the other, honestly I'm kinda impressed that this guy knows who he is, what he wants, and how to get it. Not super original, but furries and how popular it is gets me every time. I saw my first furry date out in the wild this summer and it was goddamn spectacular. I think it was a first time meetup. They must have been on a first date or something because they chose a park rather than, somewhere discreet. I get it, who wants to meet the guy who likes to pretend he's a turtle man at their house for the first time? It was a guy, dressed as either a wolf or a husky, I guess, and a girl, sexy fox. I feel like that's probably a pretty popular one. Now, the girl seemed like she put more importance on sexy than fox here, because it was pretty much just a nose, paws, ears and tail to go along with your regular old looking good for a date type of outfit. The guy wasn't messing around. Full on wolf suit with the big head and everything. In July. Guy must have been sweating his ass off in there. This guy's costume was head to toe wolf and there wasn't anything implicitly furry about him, outside of being in a wolf costume in July next to a sexy fox girl, and that was kind of a problem with them meeting at a public park, Because the thing is, all the kids playing at the park that day see this giant fucking wolf boy and they're fucking amped up about it. They wanna meet this fucking rock star, right? So I got to watch as this guy who 100% likes to take the midnight train to the bone zone in that doggy get up awkwardly entertain a bunch of 5-year-olds on front of the sexy fox he had just met. Best part was seeing the look on all these parents' faces as a couple of them very slowly realized that that guy is wearing that costume as a bit of a sex thing. Priceless. It was the best. I almost died. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you are interested in more Reddit content. See you in next video.